Feel the heartbeat, we become as one. Lion courage burning in our eyes. We were born to open up the skies. Feel the rhythm waking in our bones. Hear the ancient calling leading home. Every heartbeat turning into gold. We are more magnificent than told. See the winged lions fill the night. Golden feathers blazing into light. Finding superpowers deep inside. Love becomes the current that we ride. Freedom flowing underneath our skin. Feel the revolution from within. Every color joining in the flame. Many stars are rising as one name.
So no mai, haere mai te whānau. Welcome to the Moo Wisdom Podcast. And today we have the beautiful Carrissa Brown, who's the founder of Ora Haora, and a practitioner of Indigenous healing, trauma-informed response, and her work supports people to rise, dissolve old patterns, structures, systems, and reclaim their identity. So, yeah, this is also supporting people to get into self-leadership, self-guided, come into more authenticity, more clarity, more courage, and she likes offering pathways of that deep transformation, not just the surface stuff, but the deeper stuff that's culturally grounded, supports healing, deep healing on your nervous system with the integration of embodiment and many, many practices that help you to create a new future. So, yeah, if you're ready to step into these deeper spaces, then Carrissa is the wahine toa for that moment. So, and she's also on TikTok. Yeah, very big presence on TikTok. I see you on there, and you know, got a big following too, right? So, thank you for doing all that you do, sister. It's really awesome. So yeah, we'd love to hear a little bit about you and, you know, what brought you to doing the work that you do and also where you're situated. And, you know, you just showed me a lovely view of what you've got out there. It'd been great to show the audience that view too, you know, like just a little show and tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm based up in Whangaroa, up in Raglan now, and I've been here for 2 years. Came here homeless. We're living in a caravan with my two children. Well, two of my four. I had to leave my two eldest behind. And starting a whole new something and redefine what my new normal was going to look like. And I'm literally still constantly creating that. It's just been a space for me where I could have the time and space to really do some deep work and get away from all the noise. And this little place, you look at this cool tree I've got here. I've got this delicious big orange tree. So abundant.
You have got a
So
blurry
when life gets hard, I
background.
literally come in here and I sit in amongst these oranges and I just feel like, oh my God. I'm like, no, I'm not poor. I'm not struggling. I'm abundant as man.
Kia
Just look,
ora. Mm.
cute little deck, and then you come out here.
You've got a bit of a blur in your background, honey. Is there a way of...
Oh, that's right. I don't know how to do it. Oh, never mind. It's a pretty view. Oh, I don't know how
Yeah,
to turn
no,
it off
that's
without my
cool.
glasses.
We can kind of get a bit of a gist of what that looks like. So, yeah, cool.
Yeah. But how did I get into this mahi? It's interesting. It's really just been a lifelong journey, actually. It's not that I chose it. I think it was just that, yeah, I had no choice.
It chose
Growing up.
you. It
It
chose
chose
you.
me. Yeah, ever since I was a little kid, I was seeing wairua, I was seeing elemental beings, I was seeing unicorns, and I just thought that was natural. I actually thought every person on the planet was seeing the world I saw. And so I learned pretty quickly as a kid that that wasn't the case. And so, learned how to create that shell and hide, get back into that safe space and figure out what was safe for me and growing up, which meant closing a lot of that stuff off as best I could, but it never really ever did. And the more I tried to keep it away, the kind of more intense it would become. And so it was it was really learning to ride that wave. I had no one to guide me. I was adopted out to a family that weren't, I was I'm a Maori blood, but I was born in Australia, adopted away from my family. And what's phenomenal about that is I'm turning 44 this year, and literally all that just the recent links of whakapapa and things that I've received, I've been on this whole pathway of receiving pieces of puzzles. And all these little pieces of the puzzles were to help me put myself back together because I didn't know who I was, because you'd look at normal families and see the resemblance, and I didn't have that, and I was, I just never fitted anywhere. I was always the odd freaking one out, and just it was always that uncomfortable. I was always that uncomfortable one. And
Oh,
yeah, it's so fun now because it's like, yeah, it's I've never changed. I've stayed who I am. I'm still friends now to this day with the friends that I had in Australia who remembered me seeing unicorns and things, and they remember me being that crazy magic one. And
oh,
it's all the people kind of in between that had their own illusions of who I was. It's like I've just given myself permission to just be who I am. And
mm,
if I've got these things and I've got these tools and I've got these gifts, then, why not use them to help people? Because I feel like everyone on this planet has gifts and they're all whatever they are. I'm not to say who has what gifts, but I'm here to help people remember their power so they can find them for themselves. It's all about a journey coming home to the heart, this whole entire process. And that's what I do. And I mean, it used to always be body work and midi and making rongoa, and I've still got the clinic downstairs and I still offer all of those services and they are beautiful and powerful and helpful. Oh, I'm blurring out. But at the same time, this whole new energy that's coming in, this opportunity to recreate ourselves again. I feel like as though I love those spaces so much, they've become my comfort zone and I'm being birthed into this other space that I don't quite know what's going on, but I do know I am happy to be a beacon and a transmitter of frequency and energy because you know what? If I just choose to help, I choose to be a bridge and I choose to like embody all that I possibly can to bring in the new for our people. And so I've put out there to the universe, however you choose to use me, I will do what we do. And so then all of a sudden, all my poetry and my journals of all these pains and brokenness of all of my years, nothing made sense. And it's like, ooh, all of a sudden, I've got this big pot of alchemy, and it's like, oh my gosh, like the first song I created from my broken words, I listened to, and I cried so deeply because all of a sudden it was real time of my pain into power. And not just for myself, for every human on the planet that resonates to that. And I know every human on the planet will resonate to that. Wow, what an impact we can make on a collective frequency when we can share the keys in a fun way that's open and received. So it's kind of reinventing the portal spaces of a ceremony where we have the journey and the opening, and how do we revolutionize it in a way that we can access more of a collective people. Like, we are the magic, and now we have all the tools without any fucking bridal wear. We're not fucking restrained. We're free to create whatever the fuck you dream. Like it is on the table right now. Like, oh my God. Never
yeah,
mind
I
thankful
love
for the
it.
breadcrumbs. I used to be thankful for fucking breadcrumbs, honor the breadcrumbs. I used to fucking bow to sparrows, honoring the breadcrumbs, and then I said it to a sister who was struggling. She's like, fuck that, she goes. Why would I honor the fucking breadcrumbs when I'm like I am the bread maker? I'm like the factory, like you're the creator of the bread. And
Mm,
all of a sudden it was like this whole line of lack and validation of, you'll have nothing and be happy about it, kind of, deep rooted something. Just flipped it. It just flipped and disappeared. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could see how I'm manifesting so little because do you see how you just change that? It's
yeah,
all about our intention.
what is the gift that you feel really came to you to be able to transmute that? Because I know that, you know, using the power of the mind and using sometimes, like alchemy as such, and knowing that you are working with nature and rongoa and all of that and the waters, do you feel that has you are the alchemy now, like within yourself, not just outside of you, but within, and also how have you evolved? Like, how did you do it to get to
Oh,
that point?
breaking and breaking and breaking and breaking and embodying on every level. Like there was a time for about 2 years, 3 years. My whole body had like our nervous systems, like we've got to do this journey with our physical being. And so there's times like, after I did my wanang with you, sis, I wasn't able to eat meat and I was eating so clean and pure. And my senses were so activated that I could smell death. I could smell people that the meat that they ate. My smell senses were just so awakened, and so it's sort of like I was like, woo, I could see where that can go. I literally had to consciously turn it back down again because, my family were clean and showered and they were lovely and smelt nice to one another. But because I could smell the energy of the death, and so that kind of went into all the other spaces where, like my physical, I was itchy for years and years and years. It's like I had bugs eating me from the inside out. It's like I was getting eaten. It was horrendous. It was absolutely, hence I then re-engaged with Rongoa Santa Maria or marijuana because I'd been to specialists and it was impossible. I had this disease, what was it called? Urticaria, which is basically like your body's in overdrive of allergic reaction type thing. So it's just constantly, it's on super fire mode. It's on fire.
Mm.
Makes a bit of sense in it when we're a phoenix rising, isn't it? My body was seriously on fire, like such fire physically within me had to burn. And, it went through the layers. And before I left Wanganui, it had gone to my bones. My bones were throbbing. And so I was learning to hear me. So, how we hear ourselves through our bodies just for midi midi and knowing what we need, taking that literally, seriously, 100 to the depths within ourselves, where your bones actually are then communicating to you. I got called to do work in Cooney while I was having these massive. I knew I was leaving Wanganui. I'd had the message from Spirit be light on my feet. So this was after the close down of Pumanawa, which was an incredible collaboration. A big injection of like 5D new earth squirted into the center of the town of Wanganui, and so many people were a part of it. But it was kind of like a quick in and then out again, like
Like a breath
we've got to get
in
used to
and out,
closing the
tide.
doors, allowing the creation to rise and fall like it's going to be. There's all the waves. We don't have to hold on to one that it's supposed to be forever. It's just for whatever it is. And
Yeah, I
yeah.
also realised that, with the rongoa side of things and the miri, how you kind of evolve with it too. It has its evolution, so you can actually develop techniques and really fine tune the mastery of certain elements and creation of rongoa and everything. But then once you've actually reached a pinnacle of that, then it's like, oh, what next? And then the next thing
Mm.
reveals itself. So that's what I feel's happened to you as well. That there's something else. There's another doorway there that needs to be open, and
See, part
also,
of the, oh, sorry, sis.
yeah, with the opening and the closing of the doors, that's actually that's important. It's like the opening. It's like the birth canal. We birth, and then there's the closing of the bone ceremony that takes place afterwards, which not many people do. But it's like the pelvic floor actually has to close again,
Mm.
so that we
Yeah,
can continue to create in different ways. And the alchemy continues to
literally.
formulate. So yeah.
I can feel that. It's like boom. It's like that contraction. You can't go against it. Like when you're in birth and your body's contracting and pushing,
Mm,
that's the surge that it is. But then once that surge is done, that surge is done.
yeah.
And we allow it to all come back, and that's mutu, that's kati, and it allows the whole new space for the next, It's like that pull of
Yes.
the ocean. It's everything. How we do midi midi. It's like we're water. It's everything comes back to water. And speaking of water, so part of my process with all of this, because a lot of humans, actually probably everybody, will come into that where they've got skinness and everything's breaking down and. All it is just you're just purging your shit. You've got years and years and years of toxic shit. It's like our waters, the sewage. Well, guess what? It's going to take a process to get rid of them, and we're no different. And so, yeah, there's shit and layers and deep in the bones, and we're carrying it. And that's why we're here, and that's what the pressure cooker's for right now. So we've got no other choice but to sit within it, and then we can be free. Because once we can work with that within ourselves, like what I did was fasted. I started fasting because I became allergic to everything. So I
Oh,
was like, actually, I'm just going to have to just not. I literally, it was like wairua took everything from me. And so I just had water. And then all of a sudden, it's like I didn't want water anymore. I went for 3 months. This was phenomenal. This was phenomenal. I went for 3 months and it was after the crash and burn of Pumanawa. So the whole world around me was like fire. We were, like, whew, yeah, it was hectic, but I knew it was a transition. I knew I just have to walk this fucking gauntlet. Like it was like a fucking gauntlet. And anyway, so what I did to help me through that, I had a friend actually, we went up to Lake Roto Pounamu. And so that's my
yes.
medicine. I love going to our sacred waters.
Mm.
All my taonga that was gifted to us into that whole space of Pumanawa, which was huge. I gave all of those taonga back to Lake Roto Pounamu before I came up here to Whangaroa because I was entrusted with all of this taonga, and I'd carried it for a year through my burn, thinking, what do I do with all of this? Like what? It's not for me. This was a taonga of the vision and heart of what was Pumanawa. And the vision and the heart of what was Pumanawa was literally a safe space for people to come home to their heart. Pumanawa, it's coming home to
Oh,
the
sister,
heart.
what that is so powerful what you've just shared. You know, the fact that you've gifted it to Roto Pounamu and
Yeah.
Pu Manawa, which is the
Mm,
heart. Well, that's actually the spinner chakra, and of course, Roto.
yes.
We've got Taupu
Yeah.
Nui Aotea, which is the heart chakra of Aotearoa, and it's a heart-shaped super volcano as well, which is pretty
Yeah.
phenomenal. But then those waters seem to be connected, and Rotoponamu holds the spinner chakra for the entire planet. So you sending them there was just perfect. It like sealed,
Perfect.
it closed the door, it closed the bones on the birth. So it can now be placed into the spinner for everybody. So there's energies are spinning out for the entire planet to receive the medicine, the rongoa. This is what I'm visualizing now
Yes, I
with that
see. It's
happening.
like
So powerful!
so
Wow.
powerful. And speaking of which, the biggest of all the taonga, a Sister Arvia, Sister L, she was kaitiaki of Lake Rotoponamu for a long time. She just sent me 2 days ago a photo of all of us, me, a whole lot of us from Wanganui down at Ototoka where there's waterfalls. And it was a very magical, magical day. I think it was a Lionsgate a few years ago, actually. And this particular day, Sister L got this massive, massive heart-shaped pounamu. Like she found that at that place at my beach, Ototoka. That's when I lived, just 5 minutes from there. I'd been taking people for journeys there, and we'd been doing such beautiful mahi. It was just such a beautiful time. And Sister L presented me with that taonga. And so the
Oh,
photo of us was her presenting me with this massive heart taonga and both of our hearts on it. And she was sitting there gifting me this taonga as a kaitiaki of Lake Rotoponamu. And she's honouring me with this beautiful taonga. And that at the closure of all of that, that was like the final taonga for me to gift back to Lake Rotoponamu.
oh,
It was like,
wow. That's
you
incredible.
know,
Well,
it's so
thanks.
incredible.
Thank you for sharing that. And you know, you're following wairua, so you're getting guided the whole way of what's
I've had to
needed to
completely
be.
get, I've had to allow the death so deeply within all my aspects. Allow it had to die. All of these parts of me needed surrender to allow me to see all that I needed to see. And all it's done is allowed me to be fully love and to be fully me and to fully show up with any human being on the face of this earth with 1000% love and compassion, no matter what, you know, literally. When you allow yourself to see all your masks to the
Yeah.
beginning, we've been there, we've been it all. We cannot be here and judge another.
Well,
You
there's only
know, we
one of
have
us
to be
here,
love and
right?
show. Yeah.
There's only
Yes,
one of
Sissy.
us here. That's the irony of
I
it all.
know, sister. Literally. I love you. Yeah. And because you were the first one actually to for like another human for me to drop in and to experience like that when we were leaving. Was it the second time when I come up with Te Huatahi? I think it was the second time I come up
We were
with Te
doing,
Huatahi.
we were actually doing a patu paere here
That's
gathering.
right, our
Yeah,
elementals. Yes,
we all built little
yes,
fairy houses for the
yes,
patu
yes,
paere here.
yes. I still do that all the time with my daughter. We love it. We honor them everywhere we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. No, they're really important. They're such important taongas because, essentially
yeah,
we all come from the Patu Pairi here. A lot of us recognise and identify that. So, and
yeah.
what I love about being Māori is that, if you say you're Patu Pairi here, everyone just knows. So I'm
Yeah.
surprised
And they
that
almost
you,
giggle. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, in
But like, actually, you
recognition.
know what? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, sister. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so where's this journey taking you and where do you want to be like with this? Are you just letting Wairua guide you or you feeling that you're in the next transition to the next wave?
Yeah, I think so. It's like everything's gone stagnant in my immediate what was just a few months ago. And not in a way, it's just a very obvious, shift.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like, okay, so then what? And then in my human brain starts kicking in and thinking, okay, so it must be time to do this, this, and this. But then whoo, you have the whole other stuff going on. And like 3 weeks ago, I had bits and pieces of my whakapapa, and 3 weeks ago I was filling in my form to become an ACC accredited Rongoa Māori practitioner for here in Whangaroa because I've got some amazing support letters from people here to endorse me to be a practitioner. So that was exciting. I was like, oh, cool. As the doors are closing, there you go. Do your thing, girl. That was really what it was. It was the me allowing those spaces to close that I've been able to be comfortable with, like your part-time jobs here and there, this couple hours security and this couple middies out the road. When that all just finished, it's kind of like it took me out of chilling out, flicking, laying back on my little lilo, enjoying the sunshine and getting a bit like comfortable with life. Like just I got lazy on what I was doing. I wasn't writing fucking songs because I wasn't feeling no burn. I
Yeah.
wasn't creating something new and like I just tapped out for a bit and thought, oh, I'm gonna enjoy the sunshine. This is actually easy. I don't have to do all the things I was gonna do. Boom, 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 and then it all closes. And then, I go to do the ACC form and I noticed the gaps in whakapapa. And every time I sat there, it was like there was this hand coming out of the screen, like, no, not yet. So then I'm like, oh, and so when you're riding a fine line of like red zone flashing, you know, the human me could easily walk out the street and get a job across the street, but for some reason I know I'm 100%. I can't go and do a normal job. I'm in a vortex 24 fucking 7. I just get unplugged when I'm allowed to rest.
Yeah.
And that is where I'm learning how do I do this new? Like I'll go days and maybe have a couple hours sleep and I'm just like in a vortex in creation, but excited and it's passionate and it's raw and it's crying and it's feeling all the things, but it's serenity and peace. It's in the womb of creation. Everyone's dead and asleep right now. It's like the time I have the most energy, you know, and I drag my ass all day.
Yeah, well, once you get accredited as an ACC practitioner, you're probably going to get quite busy.
I
So
know. Yeah,
imagine, you're going to be getting quite a few bookings for different individuals, and that's exciting that you're going to be able
that's
to,
exciting
like
too.
Put
And
food on
that's
the
the gift
table
because
without stressing.
exactly 1,000%, yes. But I feel like because I've waited and honored the time, when I did see that hand, that's when I saw my ancestor's name, Puhi Wahine. And then I was like, oh, and that's where my little key diving started. Then I went into all my bits I had of my whakapapa, opening up all my big flip charts. I became like Blimmin' Einstein, like, in my world of, oh, and then all these drops, and then I'm typing this name in, and then it's giving me all of this. I'm like, oh my gosh. And literally, this when I rang my dad when I had the link, the first link, which I thought was the end of it, was Puhi Wahine. That was at 11:11 on Friday night 3 weeks ago. This is all since Matariki, right? Everything's been
Wow.
off the chart since Matariki. And it's like it's a constant potama building. I don't know what's coming, but for Lionsgate, we're only 4 days out, and we are still building. Like this is the biggest energy
Yeah, the
I've
pof,
ever ridden. I
totally the
mean, like the most
porphyry.
exciting, transformational apps. I've never seen all my sleeper whānau so awake. Everyone's open and awake and having conversations and opening to hear another side of the thing instead of just getting a gun and shooting someone, like it's big movements. It's beautiful. It's such an incredible time to rise into our power. I feel honored that I could
Well,
fucking die and crash and burn like I did and stand here in
oh,
fire and be like, you know what? Fuck this shit. If I can do it, we can all do it. Let's fucking go.
well,
And
you realise back in the day, there was people that were appointed certain roles in the tribe. Like, for example, you being a nature lover and connecting to the Patu Pairi here and having imaginary friends and all of that, you would have straight away been chosen as a tohunga and taught all the sacred skills of how to do the astronomy and the connection with nature. Of course, we are nature, and how to connect with oneself was actually the deepest teaching with that. And King Farouk, he actually ended up casting aside all of his temple guards because they did not have the senses that Māori do. He actually got the Māori battalion to stand on his team because he knew that they had their senses intact. And this is what our tohungas trained in. And back in the day, you would have been taken care of by the entire village. You wouldn't have had to worry about anything because it was always going to be provided. The priestess gets taken care of. I mean, that's in Māori culture. The
mm,
priestesses used to be looked after in the caves. They used to have all their food brought to them. They used to have anything that they needed gifted to them because that was the exchange that took place. Because in order for her to continue to receive her oracular wisdom, she needed flow in her life. She didn't need to panic and worry about how to create income so she can feed herself and her family and put a roof over their heads. It was, those sorts of things were provided for her. So I see that as the roles that need to be returned, if anything. And, you're definitely in a priestess line that has not been met by the community yet, but that's coming. Perhaps this is the way. This is the modern way of getting ACC registered.
it's so funny. It's so funny. Far out. Oh, but talking about the waters, I forgot that part when I was doing the fasting. And so for
Yes.
the 3 months, and I went to Lake Rotoponamu, and I was probably about a week in. I was probably about a week into the full fast. This was no water, no food, no anything, like nothing,
Breatharian.
nothing, fully zero. And not hungry. My body just wanted for nothing. It just like every bit of me went on strike. And I'd already prepped myself as I was stepping towards it that I'm only going to have what I feel like. I'm only going to eat when I feel like I need to eat. I'm not going to eat at times and do all that shit. I had to reinvent my whole wheel. I like scrapped everything I thought I knew about time and schedules and how to be in a day with my son who had that massive accident. That was a really That was like 8 years ago, Lionsgate, just pre-Lionsgate actually. It was his birthday, 10th birthday. Yeah, and it was 8 years ago this year. And literally that just, you know, he fell 20 meters. And I just took my daughter back there before when we closed up to leave Wanganui before those amazing photos. It was like a black storm in that place. And I took my daughter down. I relived the whole thing, and I talked to my daughter about it, my little girl. And we sang songs at certain points where there was still a lot of that energy sitting there, because we hadn't closed it up. I hadn't closed that
Wow.
space. That was a space of my biggest, most desperation call to, you know, for miracles because I was at zero at that point. I didn't know anything anymore because no matter what's happened in any time of my life, there's been a teeny speck of something that's been enough to get me to get somewhere. And this, I became complete shell, complete shell. But in the gift of that, while I was the shell and we'd gone to Wellington, he goes to surgery, helicoptered down. Um, you know, I, I was in Wairua world for that whole time. Like, he took me places. Like when I actually went to have a sleep, like 3 days later, they kicked me to the Ronald McDonald House once my stepson had turned up so he could stay with Calvin because we weren't leaving him by himself. And so once somebody else was there, then I could go and have a little sleep. I didn't have a sleep. I just went straight to the motel room, sat on the bed, looked straight across the road at his room with every ounce of intention to connect to him and closed my eyes. And it was like instantly, as soon as I closed my eyes, boom, we were together. Like, like completely fully, like I knew it was him and he knew it was me. And it was like, he's like, oh, choo, mum, choo, choo. Like I could hear him. It was like telepathy though. But what I could see was like he was nothing like this little boy, this little 10-year-old helpless child. He was like so huge. Like if you sat with Mama Aya and you try to like get your brain to comprehend the size and magic of her. It was like he was that huge and he was this massive golden being. And I was a golden being too, but I was just a little golden being. He was like fucking everything, sister. He was. And so he's just like, oh, choo, mum, choo, choo. I'm all goods. I'm all goods. And I'm like, he's like, check this out. Check what, like, and he goes in, boom, with that instant. He took me to all these different realms and he took me to the space where we could see over Earth. And like, he could turn back time. So this was the first time I ever got to see the planetary grid lighting up and the effect that we have as humans on the planet, how connected we are to the essence of mama. And when we as a mama cry, the power that is like, like he rewinded the clock back to the time when he fell, when I did my full on mother scream, mother cry.
Wow.
And the whole planet just was like just lit up. And and then he also showed about like the differences because we had churches, we had spiritual groups, we had people who had never prayed before. We had all sorts of different people praying and sending love of healing and love and intention. And it was at a time when everyone was kind of real nitpicky at everyone and their differences about what. And in all of that, when I got to see the energy behind it, it didn't matter what framework. If you're sending love and intention from whoever, wherever, whatever, words, realms, whatever it is, frequency is the same language. Love is one frequency, and it was all so powerful. And it really all made such a huge difference. And it was a real beginning weave of kotahitanga. It was a weave of coming together in our differences for the love of another. Do you know what I mean? And so in all the breaking, you can see all of those parts and the magic of humanity. And if I was not broken or that didn't happen, we wouldn't have the opportunity to give love or be love or show up for somebody. And it's when we do, that's where the juju's happens.
Well, that's actually also, in those extreme times of intensity that we have our biggest growth leaps as well. And that's what I'm seeing for you. You had a huge
Mm,
awakening where you were able to express yourself into the goldenness of everything and meet your son in his purest form. And you really connect with Mama Gaia and the energy that you're holding as a mother, and that sacred reciprocity taking place between you and the all and the everything, and that showed you the oneness that we are there. Yeah,
Yeah.
the complete synchronization of all the living fields is, yeah, what you're sharing is that's what I'm seeing. And now,
Mm,
how is your boy now? Is he okay? Like,
well, he not really. He's landed, like, honestly, we've just communicated in the last 3 days. This tangi's brought us back together. Because yeah, it has been a journey. And as a mum, you have to like honor your young people's choices, and you don't have control, and you can't help people who don't want to help themselves and all of those things. It's been, then he goes off on his own, and he's been through his own journey of, addiction, alcohol, and so he's been in and out of super unsafe spaces, and I've done the best I could from a distance. Like, I've had to go and sit with many gang leaders, and let them know that's my boy, like, can you not hurt him, because he was getting in trouble with tick ups for weed here and there. And there was gangs after him, and literally it was just lucky I knew most of the leaders of the gangs because I went to school with most of them, and I was friends with everybody. Like, I was friends with all the rich Pākehā. I was friends with all the poor Māori kids. I was friends with all the sports people. I was friends with all the kapahaka. Like, I was always somebody that was a part of all the pies, but never really had anybody to me. Like, I've been lonely my whole life, really. It looks like I've got heaps of friends and da da da. It's like, oh no, this has been a really lonely walk. This walk has been yeah, it has been a lonely one. But I've been grateful because I've needed that to be able to be who I am now. I needed to have that space and time. And now I'm ready to hopefully, make pathway to not be lonely. I can like rock on with another being and like let's go.
or perhaps it's you're lonely for the right kind of community, because
And it's even not so much lonely. It's also been I'm actually, lonely sounds like such a miserable word.
yeah.
Lonely, it's like it's by myself, but I absolutely love my own company. Like, honestly, it is like it never used to be. It used to feel really uncomfortable because I was always used to people, people, people everywhere. And when I'd had my sort of break and like go into my wānanga spaces when I was like diagnosed with severe PTSD, and I was in my suicidal spaces, like it was really went that bad. It went that deep.
Wow.
And I was pregnant with Taltarina, crying out, to take me. I can't do this anymore. Like, I cannot do this anymore. And these big giant angels appeared, sister, like gigantic there was a big full moon night, and it looked like an archangel. This was way after I was accident. This is me home trying to put back the pieces after, what goes up must come down, and integration and in between, or might have been in the heavenly realms. But then when you get back, as soon as the plane landed, shattered to a million pieces, you know. And that was the journey. I sat in the cave, and I had to sit with it was like a night sky, man. It was like being in that cave, and glowworms in a cave. It was like that. Once I realized what it was, because, it was like, wow, it just glue. They glue like diamonds in the night. And they all looked so beautiful. And I picked each one up, and you know what? Like, some of them burnt me. Like, and as I throw them away, they'd dissolve and just gone. I had to sit there with every single one piece and
Wow.
choose what to do with it. And then I only had three specks out of the billions that were there, three pieces that were the ones, they were me. Those parts are me. I only kept three, and everything else gone.
Wow, that's an incredible story. Yeah, and
Mm,
also I realized too that in the I don't like calling it lonely either, but you're especially not when you're re-identifying and re-establishing the parts of you that are actually of you, and everything else is stuff that others have projected, which is a really interesting way of doing it and seeing the diamonds and the ones that you are holding. You know, the other ones were probably just fake diamonds, right? But the diamonds
Yeah,
that
literally.
stayed, the diamonds that stayed are the ones that you're now working with properly. You know,
Yeah,
the three
yeah.
kitties of the diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about the number three, but also in the aloneness, there is the word all one. And you probably already know that, but it's like there's a real gift there of really truly knowing thyself, and you need to be alone to do that. You can't be with another. You can't have other energies around you,
Mm,
and you know that's the gift that you got given to yourself. And sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it's only a few months. You know, especially if you haven't really experienced a huge amount of trauma. But if you've experienced a lot of trauma, which I feel and sense that you have, then you know that can take years for that all oneness to really
mm.
be fully attuned and embodied. And yeah, I've got a cat that's decided to come
Oh,
and say
hey,
a lioness, a little
Kiara. Oh, look,
lioness.
right next to the lion on the screen. It was amazing. See the lion in the
Lion meet
corner? It just
lion.
came up by baby. That was gorgeous.
I should really have you
Oh,
turn the other way, shouldn't I? So you can
oh, me?
meet lion.
Oh,
Oh,
hi.
there,
Oh, you're
let's get the
beautiful.
lion to meet the lion. Oh, maybe they can
Oh,
have a little kissy. We're weird like that. Yay.
oh, so I went off. I still didn't finish that thing about the water. So funny. The water's taking me everywhere. Um, So when I went to like Little Pounamu, well, I was like a week into that fast. That was the first time, like, because I love going and walking in the ngahere. I love going and connecting with the trees, or just hopping in one and just having a sleep and letting myself open up. The trees what helped me, after my abuse. I've never really actually properly connected with another being. There's always been a something. And the first time I actually felt true connection was with the tree. And I literally, it was so uncomfortable because it was like he was talking to me. Come here, bub. Come here. Like an uncle, like a koro. And so I did, and I just like just casually hugged. And he's like, oh, come on. And then I'd have to turn around and like give him my chest. And then when I got comfortable with that, he's like, you should jump up, because I could see a branch up there. And then he was like encouraging, like, come on, jump up. And I'm like, oh, all right. So then I hopped up and I was sitting on its side saddle, so I didn't have my legs over him. Like I was just being politely sitting on koro and leaning back all nice and sort of shy. And then once I was comfortable with that, he's like, come on, I want you to give me a proper hug. And so I needed to lay down with my heart open, like my whole body on his trunk, and just let myself be one with him. And oh my God, I had never cried so deeply. The love that I felt from Kororako, sister, was magic. I was running a wānanga at that time, and that was an exercise for all of us. I was just, doing what I do the journey with everybody, of course, and oh my Lord, it was huge, literally. Yeah, it was deep. And the waters anyway, so that's what I love to do, connect to the trees because of that. And as I was walking, I was thinking, oh, I feel thirsty. And it's the first time that I'd felt thirsty in that whole week. And I all of a sudden felt thirsty. And as I walked over this little bridge, there was water running underneath the bridge. And I stood on the bridge and I could taste the water. I just literally like closed my eyes and I was like I was drinking the water. I didn't touch it. I didn't even go down by it. I just stopped and like breathed in and I literally drank from the water, without drinking from it. And then I
Wow.
realized, wow. And so, of course, I was every day, instead of eating and drinking and doing all of that, I was going to the waters. I was going for walks. I was hugging the trees and receiving the sustenance, truly the sustenance I needed to survive off the tree, the sustenance I truly needed to survive just from standing in surrender and breathing oneness with the sun, Tawhiri Mātia at nighttime comes in and he'll blow through me like I'm just fresh air, and then come and hug me like a korowai, and I'd feel warmth in the wind,
That's
and
amazing. Oh,
that's what I know. We can all do that. And it's
yeah.
literally,
How long did you have without food or water?
3 months.
3 months. No, well, that's what breatharians do as well. They
Oh,
they do the whole no water, no food, and it just goes to show you we are so programmed, and there's no reason why we can't have
yeah.
nothing, but because I think it's just we it's out there, so we need to consume it. I think we get addicted to food too,
Mm,
and that kind of it's more the senses, the stimulation of the senses. But back in the day, in the time of Tataria, there was no bathrooms or kitchens in Tataria in the old world. So it just goes to show you that humans didn't need to eat or drink at a time. So,
I went from there, like once that happened, it was just like all of a sudden, I just like once that 3 month period was up, all of a sudden I just started feeling like things again. It's just like my body needed me to see you're all good. Either way, you're fine. You actually don't need all these things you think you need because we put a lot of stress on ourselves trying to keep the things we think that we need. And then when you go to a place where you have no option, lose your resourcing, this is what the gift and all of that was. Like if maybe I may not have tried all of that if I had plenty and I hadn't had all the brokens. It was just me following wairua, and that's where it took me into that broken. And it wasn't broken because within it was like all it was showing me where the medicine is.
yeah, and also just the fact that you can fast and get rid of the disease is
Yeah,
pretty
fully
powerful. Like
restored and clear.
fully restored,
I
so
don't have
now you're
any
all good.
itchiness now. That's why I got all these on my arms because I had so many scars. I had so many scars from all my scratching over the years that I had it. It was horrendous. I'd bleed every night. It was torture. It was horrible. And the cure was to the doctors was just take this pill and it would turn it all off.
Yeah, yeah, I
And I'm
know.
like, but
It's
that's not solving
crazy.
anything. I'm like, no, never mind that. And so, I did my own journey of it and my body fasted the fuck out of it. And I'm all brand new now. And I can now eat whatever I want, however I want. Like sometimes I just eat whatever I want. Not that I eat often, but if I feel like something, I'll have it. I don't have any guilt. I don't feel bad about anything. If I feel like a chocolate, it'll be chocolate. If I feel like a fat, greasy burger, it might be a fat, greasy burger, or it might be a banana, it might be a tomato on toast with some avocado, like whatever my body's calling for, it might be a spoonful of Milo. Whatever it needs is perfect.
Do you have a special routine that you stick to now, or do you just allow your body to just tell you when it's ready to receive?
No, well, how do you mean like routine, like on the
Like,
daily sort of thing,
do
or?
you fast regularly, or is it just
No, I just purely only eat when I feel like I am. So I kind of guess I live by intermittent fasting because I don't often have more than one meal a day. I pretty much will
okay?
be happy. I'll just have a one meal a day. So I might snack through the day if I feel like it. Like I had some toast today, but most days I won't. I'll just eat at night time when I'm cooking for the kids and I'll have a meal with them at night. Like early afternoon, no, not late. We don't eat late so that we
Yeah.
can dance and sing after we've finished eating or while we're cleaning up and, you know, burn it off a bit so we don't sleep with pukus full of fucking rotting kai, you know.
So, is that how does your body feel? Have you lost weight? I mean, how
This is
is that
funny.
going?
I go home and everyone's like, "Oh my God!" And see, this was the thing. They were thinking I'm sick or whatever. I'm on something because I'm looking so amazing. It's like my body just naturally went back to its natural form. So when I was big, I used to be over 120 kilos, sister, through all of these
Wow.
times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Since I saw you at Corpo the first time, yeah, I've gone way out and way. I've been like a rubber band stretching in all the ways. But I was over 120 at one point, and I was going to Weight Watchers with my mum. And my ideal weight then was 75 kilos, was perfect. Well, I
Yeah.
was 120, so 175 just that was just bloody ridiculous. Oh God, no, I'll never be 75 kilos. Like, but through this burn and through the process, and just by honoring what my body's calling for, it's been, and then sometimes it might be calling for crying, and sometimes it might be calling for dancing, and sometimes it might be calling for singing, the releasing, and
Oh,
however it needs to flow. Most of all of that weight, sister, was the tears, was all the things that I was holding on to. And when we can actually be with ourselves and allow those waves to flow through us, whew, it just dissolved off me. I did 10 days of ecstatic dance training with Sasha. I lost
yes.
10 kilos
Wow.
doing that dance training. And that was because of that heart depth embodiment practice of ecstatic dance and somatic and all the things. Like, that's why it's precious to me, sound and vibration. Like, and now using my own words and kupu to try and create journeys and experiences for people that I've created all of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Mm,
soundscapes that have gone
yeah.
me. I create the soundscape rather than checking out SoundCloud and getting some cool clips together and just playing a list, creating the build, creating the journey.
How
That's what I'm doing at the
exciting.
minute.
Yeah,
And I want to
like
share that with the world
that's
somehow. I don't know what
awesome.
that's going to look like, but it's going to be real. It's going to
Yep.
be raw. Everyone who comes is going to be activated as fuck by the time they leave. And they're going to be like new and ready to do whatever it is. Like, it will transform everyone's lives. That will be a part of the process. Like, it's right there. It's like ready to go almost. But I'm just like, oh my Lord, what do I do? What do I do? I'm like, I don't know, but it's just weaving, just one little strand at a time.
Yeah. Are you running ecstatic dance things or somatic dance events at the
I've
moment?
got not yet because, well, I've got a dance. I've got my 2 days. When is it? That's next month. Rise from the Ashes, where it's going to be 2 days of dance and embodiment. So that's for women. So women only wānanga to do that. There's a couple of other people who are hosting like ecstatic dance already. So I
Oh,
haven't like done like a regular kind of classy one because there's already that there on offer.
yeah,
So I'm just
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
thinking, how can I? I'm trying to weave, not on,
Do
like create a,
something
yeah,
original. Yeah. Oh, well,
yeah,
no, and I
offer
love
the
what
two
your
days and
ideas are. I absolutely love it because, that's a space that I'm going in. Well, I've been in for a little while now, for over a year. I've been creating music and developing quite extensive playlists of all around the
yeah,
moo movement and all around the shift in the world and the shift in the tides and everything. So,
yeah.
yeah, and I wanted to say something about your weight too. It felt like it was water weight. So your waters, the paru waters, the kino waters, are now being
Mm,
released, and now you've got the true waters. Now you're working with the pure plasma,
living waters.
the
It's
living
like
waters,
infinite waters.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
waitaha,
It feels like living waters. Yes, yes.
yeah,
That's what I feel a huge resonance with here, sister. Ancient Waitaha up
ancient
here, like where I
waitaha.
first stayed, was on Mount Karioi. And now that I've had these whakapapa downloads just the other week, the people who I was staying with, we are direct descendant. We're on the same line of the rangatira for Ngāti Raukawa. And it was funny because when I was staying there with him, we look like brother and sister, blonde hair, blue eyes. Like he looks Pākehā
Yeah,
as, just like I do. If I didn't have all my markings, I could easily, I have been Pākehā all my life as far as most people concerned. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
like he's actual whanaunga. And while I was there, sister, just it's like the whenua called me and the whenua was showing me so much, like the magic of that
wow,
space. And I mean, before this time, this is ancient,
way, yeah,
like
yeah.
royal palace of ancient days, sister. Like,
Yeah, this is
oh
a
my gosh.
remembering. You're
Yeah,
remembering now, like this
yeah,
is, and the Waitaha is starting to really rise, because actually the other thing about Waitaha is that we're all Waitaha, but some of us have got stronger rememberings because Waitaha
yeah,
literally means living standing waters. So everybody on the planet is Waitaha, but they've lost the
That
the
remembrance of.
gifts, the remembrance of how to tune in to te ao, how to te
Mm,
taiao, how to tune into the world of marama, of the light,
mm,
and how to
yeah.
weave together, all those strands of brokenness and, the colonization to
Mm.
the free queen sea. Yeah. From
Oh, I like that.
captured
Yes,
waters to free queen
yes,
sea, of all
yeah.
dimensions and possibility. So, and I love what you're bringing in with the sound, and are you using your voice for those sound creations as well?
Yes, I have actually, but I'm not. It's yeah, because they play it up. It's a way fancier voice than mine, but it takes mine and makes it fancier.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
gives
I'm
people.
actually what I'm wanting to do is at live. I'm wanting to like that is all like the back. So if you think of the back when I come in, if I was singing it live, it would be so cool. I don't know how to do it though. I'm doing everything with what I have with nothing on my phone. But I'm in a town full of incredible musicians. So what I'm going to
Okay.
do is create this little playlist and I'm going to
Yeah.
go to the open mic nights from next week.
Yeah.
This is what I've come back from Wanganui and I'm going to share my songs with our community and whatever happens, happens. But I need to sing these. I need to have my voice on them. But I need a proper recording, somebody to help me with that. Because all these
That
apps, I've got too many bloody apps. You've got to have three different apps to put your voice on proper. Like
Yeah, yeah,
business.
true that. But there's definitely ways of doing it, and you can, you do get a sound guy to do that because
Yeah,
they'll be able to
yeah.
put the voice that's been attuned right down,
Mm,
and then do
yeah,
the recording with just, like it's,
yes.
yeah, there's everything's digitally produced nowadays
Yeah,
anyway. I mean,
yeah. It's just
all
learning the new
albums.
technology. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I've been
and
having fun figuring it out.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's a few people who are deep resistance around technology, and
yeah,
like I'm discovering that, the more I'm deep diving into it, there's people really judging and pointing fingers,
yeah.
and I'm
But do you know
thinking,
what I find interesting, sister?
yeah,
I'm finding what's interesting is those ones who are the most fearful about this potential AI are the ones that are the most fearful in life about, oh, this could happen and all what people are thinking of this, that. Like the ones that are living in fear. Like if it's basically like if everyone's been given a wizard, a magical stick. Here you go. Here's your magical wand. Your dreams, make your dreams come true. Da 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 da. And then everyone's been given this potential to create their dreams. Whatever every individual chooses to do with it and how they use it, that's how they waste their life. That's how we have
yeah,
so many people not living. They're running
oh my
around all fucking
God,
terrified.
and they're
Same
yeah,
thing.
and they haven't healed
Oh,
themselves, and they're just,
no.
they're sick usually. They've,
They're a
stuck in
victim.
a
They're waiting to be
rut.
attacked again. And it's
Oh,
all, yeah.
totally, and
That's
they're
their
the worst.
frequency. And
They are the worst ones for what I've discovered is those ones that are pointing the finger are the worst ones for using technology and, like streaming YouTube, Netflix, all of those, they live on YouTube pretty much. They just
yeah,
listen to everybody else's stuff. That's all algorithms, that's all AI generated, like there's a lot of
absolutely.
technology involved there. So that's been interesting navigating that with a few
Yeah.
people that have been pointing fingers. Yeah, because there's actually, when you point one finger, there's how many pointing back at you? There's a whole
Back at
lot
you.
more.
Yeah.
So, and it actually tells you more about them than it does about you. So,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing and whatever abuses you get, because I know you do, you get shit from people a lot.
I
how
know.
how
But it's
dare
like, what
you
are the
wear a
fuck
moko
facts?
kaua? You're a
I
Pākehā.
know. I know, sister. But like I'm from Wanganui and like I've been well trained and hammered before I've like come out with my wings. Do you know what I mean? So I've got thick skin. It's nothing I haven't heard before by my
Yeah,
very own people who are immediately my family, and it's like nothing you say will ever hurt because it's already been done. It's like you become invisible when you have like zero give fucks, which is basically zero fear, like zero fear, you become invisible to the frequency of that.
Kia
And
ora.
that's terrifying to them because you've
Yes.
always been moved by that. And all of a sudden you're invisible, and whew, that's way more scary to them than it was when you were like, "Nyeh, nyeh, 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 nyeh," trying to be right or wrong. There is no right and wrong. Everyone's allowed an opinion, and just do
Exactly.
you, boo.
Just do
Yeah.
you. Everyone's got a lane, and
Yeah.
this is your lane. So go on and go and have your lane too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Hey, so we're coming
Mm.
to a closure for our time together, sister. Is there
Oh,
any
good.
last words you'd like to say before we close out? And how do people get in contact with you? And what are
So you
your
can
events
contact
coming up?
me. Well, I've got the Rise from the Ashes. I'm going to be doing something online, an online dance transmission on the 8/8. On the
Wow.
8/8,
Yeah.
this is going to be launched on the 8/8. It's like it's for pages. It keeps writing 8/8, 8/8, and now they were all just individual creations for fun a week ago, and all of a sudden this is now a very clear journey. And so I'll be sharing an activation, definitely Lionsgate. So probably Facebook Messenger is the best place to get me
Yeah.
right now. Um, you can find me on TikTok. I'm I Water High Water on TikTok. I'm also on YouTube. I Water High Water on YouTube. But just getting started, just figuring out how do we use all these tools to help weave them to leverage what we have to share and get them to the people. So I'm here to serve our peeps, and however I can best do that, I can do. So I do coaching sessions online for people as well if they're wanting some navigation support. I call it energetic navigation coaching
Kia ora.
because then we're learning to navigate frequencies and not get caught up in the stories. So
Yeah.
it's just a little bit different to what you'd be used to with counseling or coaching. This is more about you becoming the captain of your ship and you're a navigator. And I'm just more of a mirror helping you see which ways you have to choose. What are your options? I'm that guy to help bridge in your next trans, transformation, really. What are you ready to call in next?
Yeah.
Yeah, get in touch on Messenger. I always have bits and pieces on the go. And I'm of service. So if you've got a great idea with oodles of funding and you'd love to utilize my magic for the world, I'm open to all options.
Wow,
You know what
sister.
I mean?
Yeah.
I'm wanting this to go. This is for everyone. This isn't not for me. This is, I've got like, I can feel like 100 backs behind me pushing me. Like I'm almost running while I'm trying to stand still with the support, our wairua of wanting to get this to our people because this is the time, it's the ripping, the breaking, the really painful part of the birthing process is where our peeps are coming into at this time. And what a beautiful honor to be able to have such amazing kupu to help share, to help people move through that. And so, whether I do that in sessions with people through miri miri, often I'll be singing through that time as well. Our voice is also medicine. So, bringing people into their activation spaces, as we do with kahara, you've got to sound,
Yeah.
ah,
Take
you need to feel, and it's all
Yeah.
of that on all the layers. It's the deepest miri miri we ever gonna have, guys. And this is medicine, and I'm here to share whatever medicine I've learned. It's only from my own experience of dying and rising a few times over. And yeah, it's just my soul's call to be for people, to be for the
Oh,
people.
kia ora, beautiful sister. Thank you so much. So it's time to say goodbye, and lovely to have you on with us. So very
Much
much
love,
looking
sister.
forward
Thank you
to.
so much.
Yeah, you're so
Look forward to
welcome.
what the future brings for us all in our magical
Totally,
ways.
yeah. And let's keep rising and creating and doing what we do and bringing some alchemy to the world in the best way possible. Okay, lovely.
Absolutely,
Mā
sister.
te,
Much love, sister.
mā
Mwah.
te wā, mwā.
Atiwa.
Ka kite.
Ka kite.